safer voice. 4.34 miles an hour.
And welcome back, race fans. Exclusive race coverage here of NHRA drag racing on Shaw. We have got the first round of the Pro Mods we've already had the first pass of the afternoon. During that commercial break, we will take a look at the highlight here of that first pass in just a couple of moments between Vern Mills and Glenn Solly. We've got Tim Vogt and Len Levasseur up on deck right now. Tim Vogt out of Regina, Saskatchewan, Len Levasseur out of Edmonton, and I guess we are ready now to go to that quick highlight of the first pass of the Pro Mods in round number 1 right now. That's Vern Mills in the Bel Air taking out Glenn Solly with a 694 at 206.51 miles an hour. Glenn Solly from Regina, a 741 at 192.76 miles an hour. Right now, though, from Regina, Tim Vogt, as we take a look at one of his crew members opening up the door on these door slammers. That's another name for the Pro Mods. And that 94 Corvette. Len Levasseur, he is down on horsepower today. He does not have the nitrous on his race car yet. So Tim Vogt, as you can hear that hissing sound, that's Tim Vogt bleeding the nitrous on that 94 Corvette. Tim Vogt, one of the faster cars in this Pro Mod field, taking on Len Levasseur, and here we go. Second pass of the day in the Pro Mod class. This is round number 1. And already Tim Vogt, but a 4, oh boy, and popping the chute early by accident is Len Levasseur. Tim Vogt runs through with a 719 at 190.96 miles an hour. Levasseur, an 827, 152.10 miles an hour. I'm sure the chute, which was accidentally popped, did not help things out at all. So Tim Vogt will move into the semifinals, the final 4. We've got 2 cars in the semis already. Vern Mills from Missoula, Montana. Tim Vogt, one of these 2 drivers, is hoping to make it into the semifinals as well. And we have, all the way from Missoula, Montana, in the far lane, that is Sean Wells behind the wheel of that 91 Camaro. Veteran driver in the Pro Mod class, but doing this almost 10 years. And a newcomer to the Pro Mod class for the 1998 season. It is Tom Mahedin from Calgary in that 94 Beretta. There's a good shot of it there, Carter. One of the proud sponsors. That's a car dealership in Calgary. But Tom Mahedin was running Super Comp for the past few seasons, finished in the top 5 last year. Decided, hey, over the winter months, I'm going to build me a Pro Mod car, put the bigger motor in the 94 Beretta. And here he is in round number 1 action in the Pro Mods. This could be an upset. It could be, but Sean Wells would have to make an awful mistake for Tom Mahedin to win in this round. It's Tom Mahedin, Sean Wells. Another pairing of Pro Mods right now. And a mistake. There's your mistake I was talking to you about. Sean Wells jumps the gun and red lights, giving the win to Tom Mahedin. Crossed the finish line at a 781 at 176.81 miles an hour. You see the mistake in the replay, jumping the gun, which means he left the start line before the green go light was flashed. So the newcomer in the Pro Mod class off to the semis, and that's Tom Mahedin. Speaking of newcomers, yet another newcomer to the Pro Mod series here. And that is Perry Thier from Drayton Valley. He's made his way up through the ranks from Pro into Super Pro. And behind the wheel of the Camaro, it is Perry Thier, but he has got his hands full big time. He looks over his left-hand shoulder and he sees that 96 Chevy pickup of Glenn Kurensky. Kurensky is your number 1 qualifier here today, the fastest truck on the lot. He's never faced Perry Thier before.
No, I haven't. No, this is the first time I'll be racing Perry, and normally he's not in the association we're racing normally, which is the West Coast Association, so this will be the first.
So your number 1 qualifier in the Pro Mod class here today behind the wheel of that pickup, Glenn Kurensky from Pritis, just outside of Calgary, and Perry Thier. Kurensky, you bet. Little too much for Perry Thier, going on for the big win, a 701, 194.13 miles an hour. Thier, he actually got out of shape at the start with a 1059, 104.40 Well, from 2 wheels, we go back to 4 wheels now. Semi-final action in the Pro Mods here at Labatt Raceway, and as you can see, the sun has come out, and that is good news for all our competitors and for those of you at home and for the folks here in the grandstand who are wanting to see faster speeds, if the track's going to heat up, that will allow for increased speeds at the finish line here. We've got semifinal action in the Pro Mod class right now. Your number one qualifier, Glenn Kerensky in that 96 Chevy pickup, taking on Vern Mills in that beautiful Chevy Bel Air. One of these two drivers goes into the final. Glenn Kerensky, the number one qualifier, as I mentioned, the early favorite of the day, but a driver that could take him out. That's who Kerensky is facing in the far lane. That is Vern Mills. No smoky burnouts to heat up those rear racing slicks to give them added traction at the start line when they hit that accelerator pedal hard. They don't want to be sitting there spinning their tires. They want to head down the track right now, because in this race it is a battle of ET, or elapsed time, the time it takes in seconds to get from the start line to the finish line. Hey, sure, having the mile per hour is nice, but it's ET that determines the wins and the losses in NHRA drag racing. There's a good shot of a Vern Mills. Sort of a Can-Am battle, Canada versus the USA. Mills, USA, Kerensky, and that is Canada. Pro Mod semi-final. One of these two drivers into the final. Now, a burnout is very, very important. If you don't do a good enough burnout, you could lose traction at the start line, which would possibly and could make you lose control if you leave the start line extra hard. But a couple of good burnouts there by both our two drivers, Mills and Kerensky. And they will inch up to the start line. You can see the wisp of vapor. That is Kerensky bleeding the nitrous system. He wants nothing but pure nitrous being injected into the motor of his race car. About 2,000 horsepower for Kerensky, 1,800 horsepower for Mills, and they are away. Oh, Mills gets sideways. And that gives the win to Glenn Kerensky, and I saw some smoke and some flame coming up from underneath the race truck of Glenn Kerensky. I'm hoping that is not serious. He runs a 698 to Mills, coasting 1469 at 53.55 miles an hour. Glenn Kerensky had great ET. He had great traction all the way down the quarter mile, but he lost some horsepower right at the finish line, and thus the slower speed for him. He was heading well over 200 miles an hour. But he ended up with a 187.53 miles an hour. I saw a puff of smoke and some flame underneath that race car. I'm hoping it is not serious. Keep a lookout in the far lane with Vern Mills getting out of shape right about now. Little counter steering maneuver there from Vern Mills. And he gets things up and under control once again. But Vern Mills, his day is done. Glenn Kerensky into the final. Now Kerensky is going to face one of these two competitors. Will it be Tim Vogt from Regina, Saskatchewan in that beautiful 94 Corvette Pro Mod? Or will he be taking on the newcomer in the Pro Mod scene, Tom Mahedin, out of Calgary? Tom Mahedin had that upset win over Sean Wells. Mahedin, again, his rookie year in the Pro Mod class, would love to upset another newcomer, or another veteran in the Pro Mod scene in a brand new race car, and that is Tim Vogt. Again, final check. One of the unique rules of the Pro Mod class, they have to have operating doors. And as far as the engine size is concerned, anything goes. We've got vehicles out here this weekend with as high cubic inches as about 750 cubic inches underneath the hood of that race car. One of these two drivers into the final. Who will it be, Mahedin or Vogt? We'll find out in about 7 seconds or so. Both drivers are away. Slight reaction time advantage to Tim Vogt. Tim Vogt will go on to win, running a 7:12, 191.48 miles an hour. Tom Mahedin, good run from him a 785, 176.09 miles an hour. So Tim Vogt makes up the other half of the final in the Pro Mod class here at Labatt Raceway this afternoon, as the replay shows you well. And welcome back, race fans. It is final time here on Shaw for the JV's Power Center Fall Finals here at Labatt Raceway. Now, during the semifinals, that puff of smoke and flame we saw from beneath Glenn Kerensky's 96 Pro Mod Chevy pickup was terminal. Therefore, the winner has been declared. Tim Vogt in the near lane in that 94 Corvette Pro Mod. Congratulations to Tim Vogt, the big winner here this weekend. And the Pro Mod Association said, well, we're not going to have just one car going down the track to claim the victory. For the fans at home, the fans in the grandstands, putting up his hand right away was Vern Mills. Vern Mills from Missoula, Montana, Bel Air. He says, well, I didn't perform very well in my semifinal loss to Glenn Kerensky. Can I have another shot at it, please? And Vern Mills is joining Tim Vogt. Although this is more of an exhibition race, Tim Vogt has been the weekend winner here. We'll call this the Pro Mod Final Part 2, as you can see the white vapor that's bleeding of the nitrous. Tim Vogt. From Regina, Saskatchewan, 94 Corvette Pro Mod, we have got Vern Mills from Missoula, Montana, that 55 Chevy Bel Air Pro Mod. This should be a good race. The sun is out, the track is now heated up tremendously, giving some added traction to these race cars, and away they go. Final in the Pro Mod class. Oh, it is neck and neck. All the way to the finish line. Who takes it? Tim Vogt, even though he has the slower ET, a 706 at 192.38 miles an hour, he crossed the finish line first. Vern Mills did not have the better reaction time, and he could not make that up. Maybe if the track was an extra 100 feet in length, he would have.
Hey folks, Kellen Nitro here telling you about the newest way you can help support Nitromaniac TV's drag file. Called Members Only, and it is our official premium content wing of the website. For only $4.99 a month, you will gain access to exclusive video and early access to that week's content, all commercial free. Plus an exclusive discount code to the merch stand, exclusive members only live streams, and more to come. If you sign up today, you will gain exclusive access to check out the 5K subscriber special, the 2023 NHRA Rocky Mountain Nationals whole freaking deal video, plus an early cut of what annually is our most popular title, Supercut, Pro Modified 2023. So join today, you'll never know what you're going to see on Members Only. Check it out today at tinyurl.com/drag.